Our group looked at the penny merger between Walgreens and Rite Aid. Walgreens is a retail pharmacy headquartered out of Illinois with about 8,300 stores across the US. About two-thirds of their sales come from prescription drugs. Just looking at some of their mergers and acquisitions over the past couple of years, in 2012, they took a 45% stake in Alliance Boots, helping them boost their European market share. And then in 2014, they took full ownership over Alliance Boots. Looking at the background information for Rite Aid, they're headquartered out of Pennsylvania with about 4,500 total locations, making them the third largest drugstore chain in the country. Like Walgreens, about 70% of their sales come from filling prescriptions. Looking at some of their mergers and acquisitions, in 1999, they had a big partnership with GNC, and in 2006, they bought Eckerd and Brooks Pharmacy, which at the time was the fourth largest pharmacy, helping make Rite Aid the third biggest pharmacy in the country.
Okay, so what is the issue? The merging can result in a duopoly of Walgreens and CVS. This can create an issue with market share and be very detrimental to the consumer. Looking at these graphs, it will give you a good picture of how Walgreens and CVS would compare. Combining Walgreens and Rite Aid would make Walgreens closer to the size of CVS in terms of sales. However, looking at the graph on the right of net profit margin, Walgreens and Rite Aid would have a more significant profit margin in comparison to CVS.
So, what is the harm and detriment? Consumers could suffer from higher prices, less choices, and worse service and product quality. This is due to the fact that Walgreens and CVS would have most of the market power. Walgreens could also gain power in negotiating prices with pharmaceutical companies. This is good for Walgreens but bad for pharmaceutical companies. So, there are a few policy options that could go into play. The first one is don't allow Walgreens and Rite Aid to merge. That is due to the fact that we foresee increased market power for Walgreens, and that would not be ideal for the market or consumers. The second is allow Walgreens and Rite Aid to merge. That is under the impression that merging would not have an impact on consumers and the market. That is because of CVS being a large competitor and that they are acquiring other companies as well, such as Target. This merger between Walgreens and Rite Aid would ideally help keep Walgreens competitive. The last policy option is to allow the merger between Walgreens and Rite Aid under certain restrictions. That is because the merger between the two would have negative effects like increased market power, but this can be controlled. That being said, our recommendation is to allow Walgreens and Rite Aid to merge under certain restrictions. These restrictions include eliminating store locations. We recommend eliminating about 3,000 locations so that there isn't overlap between the Walgreens and Rite Aid locations. And it will also help even out the amount of locations between CVS and Walgreens. Another restriction includes putting a price ceiling that will be beneficial for the consumers and pharmaceutical companies. That way, there isn't a monopoly that is harming both the consumers and those companies. Lastly, we recommend that the merger should be reevaluated after the acquisition and changes should be made accordingly to ensure that there isn't any harm being done on the market.